Welcome back to our Pastures Green. Just where in the bloody hell do we start with that performance at Pompey? The worst football seen played by West Brom players in many, many years. We've got Aaron, Dean, Ben, and Dan to give their rule over just what the hell is going on at this famous old football club, which is now, and I can't believe we're saying this, staring League One potentially in the face. Hope you're well. Hope you've recovered from watching that Pompey game. Lots to get our teeth into. Mainly, of course, should we just sack Ramsey tonight? Bring in Warnock and just save this season. What do you think to all that? Gemma says, when Corberan left, the players were relieved because they didn't want to work hard anymore. Oh, yay, we can have ketchup now. They have since messed around for a lovely old man who wanted them to be brave and play football, and two inept supply teachers who are absolutely clueless. Where do we start? Coming up this week, we're also thinking about I can't believe they've got this topic, who the worst ever manager for West Brom has been in terms of style of football. We've got a lot of you to choose from. Plus, we're up to letter N in our A to Z. And we're trying to, I'm sorry to add to this next bit, we're going to pick our January Player of the Month as well. Buckle up for a fun 20 minutes. God, Dean, you were there. You travelled down to Pompey Friday. You had a great time, of course, in the city of Portsmouth. Joking aside, how bad was that?
It was, well, so it's as bad as it could get, about on par with the Norwich game a couple of weeks ago. It was just almost as though the new manager is doing it on purpose to just play players where they shouldn't play and resort to just the only tactic seemed to be was oofing it down the pitch to Eggerbo, who'd got a massive centre half marking him. And Eggerbo's not the biggest bloke, because that's not his game at all. And that seemed to be it. So they sussed us out after the first 5 minutes, and that was it.
Aaron, have you calmed down yet?
I don't think I will for a while. I mean, not even just from the Portsmouth game, but since Ramsey took over, we've scored 3 goals and conceded 12, and we've not even looked like a football team. I mean, I've seen amateur teams play much better football than we have so far. It's been a disaster from start to finish, and I think you'd like to think, last week we got a draw at Derby. You think, was it the turning point? Can we actually pick up some points now? Can we, kick on from there? And it's back to square one again. It was obviously never to be. There's a lot to be said, but I don't know what the core issue is, and I think there's a lot of problems at the club that need solving. But who knows if they'll be solved before the end of the season.
Dan, when we talked about Ramsey's appointment, I think you were the only one on here that said it's ridiculous appointing an MLS manager. I think you got called out in the comments as being clueless and get behind the man. Dan, do you want to say anything?
Just going to sit here and look smug, to be honest, mate. I got absolutely hammered for that comment, and it's like I was right. He's trying to play MLS tactics in the Championship. Now, the Championship is one of the hardest leagues to get out of. It's one of the toughest leagues in the world, and he's literally playing Sunday League tactics. And yeah, I got slated for it, calling MLS Sunday League, but he's just proved his point. I've just proved it. It's awful. It's horrible to watch, and I can only imagine it's only going to get worse if he's being that stubborn and not changing his formations or his tactics. It's like Dean said, we're passing it about a bit and then just lumping it forward. Every time the ball goes back to the goalkeeper, he's lumping it forward to Eggerbo, and he's got no chance to win a header. He can't do anything with it when the ball's up in the air, when he's facing some bloke who's like 7 foot tall. And it's just coming straight back at us. Portsmouth sussed us out like these in the first 5 minutes, and they just ran riot. There was so much space in the middle of the park. It just looked like a training session, like an attack against defence in a training session for Portsmouth. They made it look so easy.
Ben, he should get sacked tonight, shouldn't he?
I mean, I probably wouldn't be against it, to be honest. I don't think it will happen. I think we kind of stuck with it for the time being. But as Dean said, on Saturday, that was as bad as the Norwich game midweek. we just don't offer anything going forward. We're so easy to play against. I mean, Portsmouth were the lowest scorers in the league, I think, and they scored 3 against us very easily. We got rid of Mason and hired someone else with a little experience, and this idea is just not working. I'm sick of these managers coming in who have done a few modules on a UEFA website and think they can manage it in Championship, because he looks out of his depth. We're playing a system that the players don't suit, the players don't enjoy. He said it was going to be a defensive-minded coach to make us more solid, and how many goals we conceded in that time. It's not looking positive. There's not even any signs of us playing any better. I know we got that draw last week against Derby and thought we were going to win the league, but we're just miles off it. It's not just on the pitch, off the pitch as well. The recruitment has just been appalling. Look at Portsmouth's new signings. Edo Adams, who scored, that Ali signed from Luton, straight in the team, making the difference. And who's signing at right back, got hooked at half time. It's top to bottom. It's just appalling at the minute. It's the enjoyment of it is just going week by week, and it's not good. We're only heading one way, and looks like we're going to get relegated from probably the worst Championship in years as well, because the standard this year isn't great either, which is even more annoying.
Yeah, well, we can't let that happen, and let's play our role here. Shilin Patel, if you are watching this, or anyone connected to Shilin Patel, this club cannot go to League One. We cannot have Bromley versus West Brom as a fixture next season. This club is too big for League One, and I'm not having anybody say anything else. So if you're watching this, sack him, wish him well, and bring in somebody this week. Bring in Tony Mowbray. Maybe not Tony Mowbray, he's going to Blackburn, importantly, but bring in a Warnock-esque manager who knows this division just for 4 months, pay him whatever he wants, keep this club up, and start again in the summer, because this is only going one way. And Dean, there's lots of fans saying, Joseph, if you want to stay up, you sack him tonight and give someone that has a clue a chance to keep this shower of players up. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen as Ben says, but it needs to, doesn't it?
I think it should happen, yeah. We're going nowhere at the moment. I personally, I don't know if it's the right decision or not. I'd get rid of him right away, and I'd probably just give Morrison for the rest of the season, say paying somebody else. Whether that's the right decision, I don't know. But at Swansea, we didn't look too bad, and we won, and he gave the kids a chance. He put DK in. So, yeah, I think we just bite the bullet and do it, but they won't. But there's news tonight. Apparently, it looks like Nesta's gone. He's the so-called president and chief executive. So, just as we come into a letter N.
Well, we're going to cover this. Was that Shelley says, I will take a shred of respect for Ramsey. If he does the honourable thing and resigns with immediate effect, Nesta can play and simply F off in absolute embarrassment. I mean, how much of the blame, Aaron, for you does it Nesta shoulder for where the club are currently?
I mean, there's a fair portion of it. I wouldn't say it's all his fault, right? Because a lot of the fault can lie with the coaching staff. But again, that comes down to his appointments, and the players on the pitch. Again, it comes down to his appointments and his signs and stuff. So, like I say, a fair portion of the blame will lie on his head, and I'm really not surprised to see that he's either resigning or being sacked or whatever he is, because ever since he's come in and taken on this presidential role, that's a joke in itself. President in the UK is just a joke anyway, but I don't understand that. It's just everything's just gone to pot. Honestly, like from top to bottom, like there's nothing good with this club since that's happened in a footballing sense. Maybe they've balanced the books a bit more. We're better off with PSR and FFP and whatever else have you, but. On the pitch, they've just stripped out everything they can find. They've taken everything they can get out of the club, or sold the best players, not replaced them. I mean, we sold Tom Fellows for £8 million and replaced him with Billing Jr. And that speaks for itself. Like Dan said, we signed that right back in Ray, and he's hooked at half time. So whether he's good enough or not, you don't know. I mean, if he's only playing half of the game of football, he's obviously not that good. But I think a lot more needs to be done, and I think it's probably the right time for him to leave. I think, if anything, it's too late, but it's better late than never.
Ben, you were there at Fratton Park. I want to ask you about quite another savoury incident towards the end of at the end of the game. Not the best still we managed to capture of it. Isaac Price having to be hauled away from having a go back at the fans. Your view on that?
Yeah, it doesn't look great. I mean, that's the quickest I've seen him move in about 4 months. So, but I think when things like that start happening, as soon as we've said it before, as soon as you lose the away support, it's a long way back. Everyone's saying on Twitter now he needs to get rid of him because we don't want players like that at the club, especially when you're fighting where we are. I think if an offer came in for him tomorrow, I'd be looking to accept it, to be honest, because he's not been good enough over the last 8 to 10 games. He had a good start to the season, but he's not continued that, and he's offered nothing over the last few weeks. And to top it all off, he's mouthing off. When there's fans who have travelled 200 odd mile to watch what they've watched, and you can't have that.
Yeah. Do you agree with these fans that have gone on quite strong on Twitter, saying you should never ever put the baggy shirt on again?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I don't think he knows where he's supposed to be playing now, to be honest. He's just running around all over the place with no role in the side at all. Completely out of order what happened in the end. You've just got to take your medicine, haven't you? And it's naturally the fans, sold out away end again. Naturally they're upset and they're giving him all a load of abuse. Why suddenly? I don't know what would have happened if DK hadn't pulled him back. I think it'd have been now. But he's not the biggest bloke to come and offer somebody out in the crowd, is he? So I don't know. Yeah, whether he'll play again, I don't know. Am I bothered? No, I'm not really.
Dan, this from Raman. Bostock and Whitwell must be wondering why they can't get games. I appreciate it's a difficult situation, but the fearlessness of younger players has to be now worth a try, surely. Agree?
Oh, definitely. Well, it can't get any worse, though, can it? So
Can
it can, yeah. You might as well just risk it and just throw them in at the deep end, see if they can hold their own. I mean, Bostock has already sort of proved that he can sort of play at this level. Bearing in mind, it was a cup game, but he still made a great impact when he came on in the cup game against Swansea. Yeah. So yeah, you might as well just chuck him in. Looks it can't get any worse.
Are we all okay? I mean, I've watched obviously the game back, and I've obviously spoke to our Pompey fans earlier on our Pompey podcast, and I mean, Aaron, their words were, and I said, "Do you think West Brom are going to go down or going to be all right?" And they said, "I actually can't see them picking up another point based on how they bounced, how bad they were at our place." I mean, are you I as a neutral, I can't see West Brom go down because in my head, on paper, you are better than Blackburn, you're better than Oxford, you're better than Charlton, and you're better than Pompey. But do you have genuine fears that this could be relegation?
Well, I'll put it this way: it's going to take a miracle and then some to keep us away from the bottom three at this rate. I mean, I can't see, like the Pompey fans are saying, I can't see us actually picking up another point with the current state of affairs. I mean, we can't even get near their box. We found out halfway through the season how to play, how to score goals. Playing to Hege Post-Strauss and playing, Johnson and Hagebo formed a decent partnership, and we've just gone back to square one, stripped that away, playing absolute dynamite football, and it's boring. It is boring. It's every passing game I just fall less. I'm enjoying it less. Every single game you fall more out of love with the actual club. It's just getting to the point where you're thinking to yourself, why bother turning up? You know what I mean? Like if the players are going to play like that and the coaches are going to do things like that, then why would I even actually bother offering my support and turning up and paying all this money to go all around the country and do all this? It's just not worth it. It's not worth it at all. They don't deserve it, so why should they?
Cheers for Aaron. Ben, if Blackburn beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-0 on Tuesday night, you are in the bottom three.
Yeah, I mean, I can see you can't see anything other than a Blackburn win on Wednesday night, because Sheffield Wednesday aren't up to much at the minute. I think the fear is as well, I think Blackburn are going to get rid of Ishmael as well, aren't they? And get a new manager in, and that could likely be Tony Mowbray, and he could be the one end of relegating us, which would be another kick in the teeth. I mean, we say it every week. We're too good to go down. We don't think we'll go down, but every week the performances get worse, and we get closer and closer to the bottom three, and it is now a genuine, realistic ending to our season that we could go down. I think, like I said, Blackburn will replace Ishmael and have a bit of a bounce, and then we'll be scrapping with then Oxford, and there's no one else really down there. Norwich are going to pull away from it because they've picked up results. Charlton got a good win at the weekend, so teams around us are getting points and we're going the other way. So it is a genuine concern at the minute.
Dean, you've been here before. I mean, it's where Boing Boing comes from. Baggies going up and down, but in terms of all the similar relegation times you've experienced with this club, does this one feel probably the hardest in that you've got a team there which aren't giving any passion or any fight?
Yeah, I think that's the difference. In the past, we've had some crap teams, but we know they can't. But they did give it all. This seem to have down tools now, and yeah, I think it's because of the division so bad as well, as Aaron said. I think it's the worst championship I've seen for years, which makes it even more galling that we're actually down there. And the next three games, Stoke, Blues, and Coventry. We could be down in a couple of weeks' time. I don't know where the next result's coming from. If you looked at that team on Saturday, the heads were all down. There's no leadership out there. Most of them didn't seem bothered. I would say there's only 3, maybe 4 who were actually bothered.
In the comments, if you can think of any positive to cheer us all up, let us hear it, because we'd love to read some of these out next week. All right, let's move on to the January Player of the Month, if we can. Should we just give it to the fans? Should we give it to the away fans this month? Dan, is there any player would you give this to?
Probably say Callum Styles, really, but he's the best of a bad bunch.
And he dropped him on that.
Right. Ben?
Again, there's no one. I tell you who it is. It's Bostock for the FA Cup. That's who it is. For those 20 minutes, that's generally who it is, because everyone else, he's not played the league game. He's played 20 minutes in the cup, and he's your player of the month, because everyone else is just miles off it. So it's got to be him.
Aaron?
I'd go with Jed Wallace, maybe. I think he come back off the bench against Borough, and I think he actually played quite well. I mean, he got a goal. I mean, it's hard to say really, because no one's been outstanding, put it that way. I mean, it's been a bad month for all involved, but I mean, either Bostock or Wallace, it's one of them. It's not really, there ain't really much to choose from.
Give it to the away fans, I think. I've been there, sold out last 2 away ends. Been there in numbers. Support at Derby was brilliant, and it was really good at Portsmouth up until about 10 minutes in, and we could see where the game was going. And then it did start getting a bit toxic, especially after the second goal.
Yeah. Okay. Last week we were talking about good managers. Let's move on to rubbish ones. Who's been the worst one in terms of style of play? Ben?
Pick a number, really. I don't want to say Ramsey or Mason, because it's too obvious. Steve Bruce is up there, but I think in terms of the run we went on, Alan Pardew was just shocking. I think he got us relegated from that 8-year stint in the Premier League. Players were out of control, losing every week. We had a good squad as well. So I think we had a decent squad. He had some good players at his disposal, but we were just awful under him. And he was one that almost cost us that place in the Premier League, and I suppose it's probably one of the reasons we are where we are now, still in the Championship. So I'm going to say Alan Pardew, because it wasn't enjoyable.
Dan?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Ben. Alan Pardew. Just his style of play, just the way he is. He comes across a bit arrogant, but I think it has to go down to like the whole taxi gate thing, where 4 players stole a taxi that I think more or less cost us our stay in the Premier League.
Okay. Aaron?
Yeah, I have to agree. There's no other manager in my lifetime I've hated more. Every time he's on TalkSport, I start punching the radio in the car because I can't listen to him.
Dean, has it been worse than Pardew?
Not really, but I wasn't a Tony Pulis fan, to be honest. When you talk about who played horrible football, I was home and away, and the away games were just desperately hard to watch. So I was never a big Pulis fan, but I think the last couple of weeks...
We'll take him back now.
It's going to take me to beating, I think.
They haven't got much better, have we?
Yeah, would you take Mason back now?
No.
I would love a Ryan Mason moments right now, to be honest. I'll take that now.
It really wasn't that bad, was it, under Mason?
I don't know.
There's levels of badness, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm only going to laugh about it. All right, then. A to Z of West Brom we've been building up to. We're up to the letter N this week. Not sure if this is a hard one or not, fellas. Has it been straightforward? Open forum, who's got anything?
I'm struggling.
I've got Stuart Naylor down, the goalkeeper.
Okay.
I've got a couple written down. Alan Neom.
That's all I had, yeah.
Gordon Nisbet before your time. But Stuart Naylor. But I think it's all been overtaken tonight by Andrew Nesta going on.
Okay.
Conveniently beginning with the letter N.
Yeah. No others?
No, Alan Neom was mine. I saw that.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's. Which one we're going with? Neon then? Yeah.
So I'll be a legend.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. We need some help in the comments here. Then have we missed any?
Stuart Naylor was better.
Still Naylor. Okay. Right.
I'll go with him.
Fair enough. Now, next week, they are going to need your help, I think, anyway, with the letter O. So we're going to let them put overhead kicks in if they can't think of anyone. If they can't think of anyone, can you think of a Baggies bicycle kick scored by any player against any opposition? Let us know in the comments. We'll read some of these out next week. But yeah, we're heading into tricky territory as we head into O and Q and all these others. So we need your help. Thank you very much for everyone who's commented on last week's video as well. Yeah, who knows? We might be back in a couple of days with an emergency pod with another manager's you're sacking. Yeah, I mean, Dino, is there any way that Ramsey doesn't survive till Stoke?
He probably will survive. I don't think he should. I think we should just bite the bullet and move on.
Yeah.
But
Is there any capacity you have in your? Is there any capacity you have in your association in your role to push that lever or not, or make it clear to the owners that
well, we're not supposed to.
No, but
certainly can't criticise the owners. But yeah, there is another meeting coming up, and we'll certainly voice our opinions, I guess. But no, we can't have any say in getting rid of the manager, really.
Okay. Right. Well, let's again. If you're watching, Sheila, massive respect for saving this club from where it was financially. Love you to pieces, pal. But yeah, you've got a big job to do this week. Make it happen. Right. Cheers for watching. Thanks very much, Aaron. Cheers, Dan. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Dean. We'll hopefully catch you back here next week, having put Stoke to the sword, and everything's right with the world. 3 points. They're in the baggies. Catch you later.
See you, boys.